In my journey around the internet, I have seen a lot of strange, odd, and unexpected fascinations that people hold on to. The most recent of these fascinations is something called Reborn dolls. A reborn doll is an often handmade doll that is intended to look as realistic as possible to real human children or infants. These dolls have therapeutic applications, such as being a comfort to a grieving mother or someone with dementia. However, a number of people are seen as to have taken this too far. While there are a number of people on the internet I could point at in this regard, this video is going to cover the one that has recently captivated me. Meet Kelly White, aka Reborn Cosplay Mom of Many. Kelly has upwards of 11 Reborn dolls as of now and treats them like real children. I think it's best if we let Kelly introduce her Reborn family and see what a day in the life looks like.
Day in the life of taking care of my 9 Reborns, part 1. So, first, they're all out of bed, and in their high chairs, and I'm making them breakfast. The 3 girls, Emily, Jen, and Ashley, are having toast and yogurt, while everyone else is having oatmeal, and I give the 2 youngest, Adam and Michael, their bottles, and now it's time to dress them, starting with Emily, Jen, and look, we're matching. Then it's time to finish our Disney marathon, and we are up to The Hunchback of Notre Dame on Disney+. And I have all the younger babies in here, just to keep an eye on them while the 3 girls watch. Everyone else is welcome to watch it too.
Kelly has previously stated that her introduction to Reborn dolls came from seeing someone's collection of Reborns online and thinking they would be a cute addition to some of her cosplay, but came to feel a deep connection to the dolls. I think there is no doubt that this has become something far more than just a hobby for Kelly, especially if this is truly an average day in her life. She is effectively acting as a single mother for almost a dozen infants, except they're made of plastic and don't have any true needs. What you are seeing on screen now reinforces this. Kelly takes her dolls to many public functions and events. This can range anywhere from taking them out to a restaurant or to the cinema to watch the new Sonic movie, which is one of Kelly's favorite childhood franchises. It's kind of funny how many people love Sonic on this channel. One public venue that I find to be the most uncomfortable Kelly has taken her dolls to is something called a Princess Day event. From what I can gather from context clues, it's an event for little kids where someone dresses as a princess from Disney and interacts with them and tells them stories. I'm not sure why this one creeps me out more than almost anything else I've seen Kelly do, but it does. Maybe because it's one thing for this behavior to be in public, but another to inject it into a function meant for real kids. Although I'm sure children were not actually disturbed by this, as to them an adult in the back with dolls dressed up like princesses might be something they'd expect to see at a Princess Day. I did say this Princess Day video creeps me out more than almost anything else I've seen Kelly do, and that's because there's one thing that really overtakes it in my opinion.
I was breastfeeding them, but then Anthony came along, and I couldn't breastfeed anymore because I only have 2 parts of my body that can produce milk if I could have a baby. So ever since I got Anthony here, I've been making bottles for them. And no, not real baby formula, too expensive. I am making them fake formula that I simply use flour and water to make the formula with some turmeric to make it the right color. So it looks like real baby formula, real baby milk.
As you saw, the baby formula from the Day in the Life video is a relatively new adaptation to having so many mouths to feed. Kelly's life is deeply entrenched in taking care of her doll family in ways that you might expect from a real family. From putting together multiple full scrapbooks of her favorite moments together, to taking them swimming, to growing out her own hair and cutting it off to sew it into the head of her latest reborn son. You might be asking yourself if Kelly is unwell, which I don't believe is an illegitimate question to ask, nor would you be the first to. Does she believe these dolls are real kids, or just dolls, or something sort of in between? I won't answer this question here. I will leave it to you to draw your own conclusions in the comments below. However, I do think we get to see a lot of her thoughts on this subject in a TikTok she posted comparing the Toy Story movies to her reborns in response to a comment she received from someone who enjoys imagining that her children talk to each other when she is not around.
My God, you're not alone, because I think the same exact thing. Sorry, I'm just trying to elaborate on what else I was gonna say. Every time I think about my reborn dolls, I always imagine it to be like Toy Story, when I'm leaving them home by themselves while I'm going to personal training and working out, and I'm putting on a Disney movie for them, and I show them The Emperor's New Groove. I'm probably thinking to myself while I'm out, if this was anything like Toy Story, would they be talking about the movie I'm showing them as a little distraction? Or would they have the house to themselves doing everything they want, like little kids, until I come home? I mean, I sound like I'm crazy, but I want the Toy Story universe to be real. I want my dolls to come to life when I'm not around. But also, I was actually just showing them Toy Story recently, and the running joke in Toy Story is that they're so bad at stealth, and they don't get caught because they're lucky. So I've been saying to my dad, if Toy Story was real, if toys really came to life, then there would be some kind of documentary about it by now. But still, I really would like Toy Story, the Toy Story universe, to exist. There's so many things going on in my head that, I'm sorry. I'm so hard to talk without a teleprompter. And for the babies, I just think if this was Toy Story, they would have baby brains, like real babies. Okay, let me elaborate even more. Unlike Toy Story, it's a little dumb the way I'm processing this, but I like to think, what if the toys in real life were smarter? Like, for example, when it's bedtime, Jen stays in her bed. Let's just say it was like Toy Story. Jen stays in her bed. Ashley stays in her bed. Emily stays in her room during the entire night, because if my German Shepherd hears one footstep, he's gonna freak out and howl like a wolf. No, I'm not exaggerating. And, that would probably cause suspicion. Or maybe not. Or maybe my parents in my room with the dog barking in their room would probably think it's me. Or, I don't know. I just like to think, hypothetically, if Toy Story was real, maybe toys would be more careful than they are in the movies. Like I said, they suck at stealth, and miraculously, at lucky chance, do not get caught.
Kelly's online presence is not solely focused on being the mother of her dolls, although they do play a major part in most of it. As you may have guessed from the Reborn Cosplay Mom of Many moniker, that's a tongue twister, Kelly has made a pretty serious hobby out of cosplay, and as far as I can tell, she's pretty good at it. Although I'm a bit of a stranger to the cosplay scene, so take that with a grain of salt. It is certainly better than anything I could do. She cosplays as characters from a wide range of series such as Five Nights at Freddy's, The Legend of Zelda, Has-Been Hotel, and so on. Her father has even joined in on the fun and has been William Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's on her channel several times, and from what I can see, he seems to be having a really good time. It does bring a wholesome vibe, in my opinion, which is honestly a nice change. Kelly has made mention that at some point in the future, the two plan to duo cosplay Zelda and Ganondorf. And of course, the dolls are a big part of the cosplay endeavor as well. Something that has gotten Kelly in trouble multiple times is her inability to not bring up her political views on her channel, with an attempt to not dissect the actual politics here, because this is not what this channel is about. I talk about wacky people on the internet and don't want it to bleed into a political forum. That's just asking for trouble, honestly. Kelly seems to have a strong dislike for people on the left side of the spectrum, and has stated that she has multiple strikes from TikTok and that another one means her channel may be potentially banned. To get an idea as to what she is doing to get these strikes, let us take a look at a recent video where Kelly seems to go out of her way to make mention of a certain slur, and that she isn't allowed to say it on TikTok.
Yes, Father's Day really sucks for them. Also, here's the elephant in the room. I cut my hair again, went from looking like a Karen to the D word I cannot say because this is TikTok. But anyway, yeah, Father's Day really sucks for them.
It's pretty obvious what D word Kelly is making mention to, and plenty of people on TikTok thought so as well. This has led to her receiving quite a backlash in her comment section, and resulting in her disabling the comment section entirely in a number of videos. Kelly, however, is the type of person that will respond to this sort of backlash, albeit perhaps more restrained than it once was, due to the looming threat of her TikTok being banned.
Yeah, I know you're woke, but that doesn't mean you have to be a snowflake and not take a joke. Do not police my speech. I can talk however I like. Bye, you're getting blocked. Lib.
As I said, the dislike for certain people seems to come out of nowhere sometimes with Kelly, in the middle of videos. I think a perfect example is the Toy Story video I showed you earlier. I cut this part out originally as it seemed to be a scatterbrained thought that had no bearing on the rest of the subject she was talking about.
I like to think that Jen is both a girly girl and a tomboy. Ashley is a girly girl. Emily is down to earth. And there's something about Emily's face that strikes me as a very kind person. And when something just shows up on my feed, like something political, that is, something left-leaning, and they hear this vocabulary word, and they're like, hey, what is that? I want to know what that is, but Mom won't tell me. I don't want to say exactly what I'm talking about, because if I say anything related to that, TikTok will flag this video, so I'm not taking my chances. I'm one community guideline strike away from being banned off this app. At least that's what TikTok said to me during my last community guideline strike.
I've seen other examples of this sort of behavior, and the dancing around what she actually wants to say, making explicit mention that she only doesn't say it because TikTok would ban her channel, is a constant. I'm certain there will be many more examples of similar behavior if you look deep enough. After all, Kelly has been an active poster since 2019. So, what's next for Kelly? Will she be adding more Reborns to her already swollen family? Well, judging by her Amazon wishlist, there is no doubt about that. Since TikTok has officially returned in the United States, she has no worries about where she'll make her content, and will certainly continue doing so. I'll keep you posted if I hear anything worthy of your attention on Kelly in the future. Until then, thank you for watching The Bazaar.